something called a Protestantism is there. There are two groups, one is Catholics, one is a Protestant. Catholics are the, Roman Catholics are the original, this thing, they were in a luxury, they were the original aristocrats, and they followed, oh God, hallelujah, kind of, they used to waste their time, God and hallelujah kind of a thing. Calvin, who protested against this Catholicism, and he says, no, this is not the way to lead life. He said, work is worship, duty is God. If you work hard, God will be happy, and you will be the chosen one by the God. So he says, work is worship. Work very hard. But he gave another, because Protestantism is growing, he was taking a group out and trying to develop a kind of a sect. Okay. Within the religion, there is one more sect is growing, and he united them with an idea that work is worship, duty is God, and the condition is you need to have a not an extravagant life, rather a very frugal life. Work more, earn more, save more, but don't spend more. Just because I earned 100 crores so in my son's marriage, one day haldi, one day mehendi, one day something, it will go on for a year together. Like, he earned a lot, obviously he spent a lot, but that was the style of life in amongst the Roman Catholics. He said, no, work is worship, duty is God, work hard, save money, and if needed you can invest that money somewhere else, but not in extravaganza. As a result, people worked that with that calling of Calvin, with that calling of Martin Luther and other things, they also said, supported it, and people worked very hard, and as a result of which people grew money, and people did not spend in extravaganza, they saved, they reinvested, and over a period of time capitalism grew. And he gave the theory called Protestant ethics and spirit of capitalism. He says it's not the exploitation which gives the industrialist more money and so capitalism grew. No, rather it's a peaceful exchange based on the idea, the ethics that comes from the religion also, and he gave his principle, Protestant ethics and spirit of capitalism. And it is a full-fledged question, you know. Once you have this idea that how capitalism grew through Calvinism, work is worship, duty is God, and have a frugal life, not extravagant, you have the total thing. For these, you don't have to read 10 pages. Features, meaning, significance, limitations, what is the PYQ. PYQ has to be, but the thing is that you need to have get the spirit of the thing. If you have understood how religion grew, then Durkheim's idea of origin of religion, it's not a great thing. And if you have understood that monism is nothing but when the states pursues it, It is in fact trying to suppress other isms. So, then Max Weber died of, like here we witnessed corona, there was a Black Death. You know, in Europe there was a Black Death. Have you heard of Black Death in Europe? It was same thing like corona, COVID era. COVID era, how this germ came, God knows. But historians write that a ship from the Black Sea came and was anchored in Europe. And in that ship, there was a mouse. Not mouse exactly, rat, rodent. That was a dead mouse, and a fly was sitting in it, on it. Many flies were sitting on it. When the ship was anchored, these flies came out, and it was carrying the germ. It sat on anybody, and that person started suffering from diphtheria. You know, diphtheria, it comes from the mouse only, rats only. And rats were dying, people were dying, and the indication was sneezing. And I do not know in your culture it is there or not. Whenever you sneeze, somebody will say, God bless. It started from there. He has sneezed means he is gone. And they will say, God bless. And you know, during those days, historians write that people were digging holes for burial. They were almost putting the sand, few more dead bodies came. Again they put, few more dead bodies came. Like this, the historian writes, this is like sandwiches. Dead bodies, sand, dead bodies, sand. It went on like this. And during that period, mostly affected were the slaves, because they are poor. Who will be more affected in corona? Maximum people who did not have money to afford a treatment, and blacks were like that. And Africa was below, Europe is this. From here, the blacks stopped going there. And blacks were dying, 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 and dying. And one of the biggest reasons of abolition of slavery in Europe was this Black Death. So much of black people died that slavery got abolished. It's one of the reasons. And Max Weber died of this Black Death. After he was almost sick at that point of time, a gentleman from USA, University of Harvard. He studied in Amherst College, then got interested in sociology. So there was no sociology in USA at that point of time. But they had seen north and south divide of USA. What is north and south divide? North was very near to Mexico. So Mexican you come to USA for job, and not exactly Mexican, Caribbeans, chote islands, they will come, they are the blacks. And the southern part of USA was flourishing, their economy was flourishing on the basis of these blacks only. and the northern part, Washington part, they said this blacks, slaves, it's not a right thing. Slavery is not a right thing. You have to stop it. Well, why should I stop? We will not stop. And there was a civil war between the north and south of USA. To study this phenomena, sociologists got interested. What this civil war exactly means. And people like Talcott Parsons, Robert Merton, Talcott Parsons came to Europe and started working with Max Weber. Max Weber by that time has lost his mental balance. He lost his mental balance and he was unable to write. His most of the writings were in German language. Anyway, he passed away. After that, Talcott Parsons and Max Weber's wife together, they started complete writings of Max Weber. Actually, Talcott Parsons started his sociology journey where exactly Max Weber ended. And Talcott Parsons he talked of macro level, he never talked of a smaller society. He gave a macro level view. He talked of something called social system, how the social system operates, how society as a system operates. He says society is a conglomeration of many systems. He said economic system, political system, cultural system, legal system, all these systems together form a total system called a social system, a collective system called a social system. And he talked of social system and how this social system varies. He tried to develop a pattern, the traditional and the modern. He says the traditional systems are based on by birth, modern systems are based on by merit. The traditional system were more emotion driven, modern system are more rationality driven. Like this, he said the whole traditional system and the modern system can be classified. You have in your course two things of Talcott Parsons, that is social system and pattern variable. Then the sixth author that you have is Robert Merton. Robert K. Merton. Robert K. Merton is Robert King Merton. You know, when I say this Robert K. Merton, my name is Ashish Kumar Chatterjee. So I thought, after studying a little bit of sociology, I will make it Ashish K. Chatterjee. I made it Ashish K. Chatterjee. I never understood the repercussion of this. It was a fancy, I made it Ashish K. Chatterjee. I retired, I am not getting pension. Why? My pension is not coming. I did not understand. They said there is a mismatch between your name and in your, name in 10th class certificate and name that you have reported in Aadhaar. Ashish K. Chatterjee. 10th class birth certificate is Ashish Kumar Chatterjee. My pension got delayed and then I had to do whole lot of things. मैंने बोला बाप रॉबर्ट किंग मटन तू तो भूत बन के आ गया, पागल कर दिया मुझे. This Robert King Mutton was a slum dweller in Chicago. He was in the slums. He was playing the role of a joker. Okay, some or other from the playing this कहता है joker सारा जमाना करते करते he went into studies, and he was the after Robert Talcott Parsons, he was the professor there. He had become, and he was a person who till the age of 90 used to go to his department till his last day. He will not, I mean, who will allow him at the age of 90 to enter into the department? But he has written so many books, social theory and social structure. He was very renowned by that time. He will be just sitting in the foyer, interacting with the students. He passed away very recently only, and he used to interact with the students. He gave the strain theory. He had gone into the American society. He was born and brought up in a slum. From there, he came to the mainstream aristocrat society, and he knows what the strain is. And he says, you know, strains are of different types. Particularly the reason for strain is when the socially approved goals. What is the socially approved goal? The society says you work hard and study well at this age. After that, you prepare for the exam and get a good job, isn't it? So, socially approved goal is that you have to get a job, and institutionalized means, that means established rule is that you have to work hard. But these goal, socially approved goal to achieve becomes very difficult because of inequalities prevailing in the society. What is the inequality? I mean, 80% of the jobs are being controlled by the private sector. There is a complete monopoly. Like I was a little worried during this what happened to this airlines. Chaos for 3-4 days. 12th I have to return, what will happen? I mean, if one monopoly is like this, where from jobs will come? It is all Indigo monopoly, all Air India monopoly, Tata's monopoly. So the socially approved goal to achieve through the prescribed means, in sociology we call it institutionalized means. Through the means prescribed and the goal fixed for you, when there is a mismatch, you undergo a strain. And he gave 5 types of people. We will look into it. Conformist, innovators, ritualist, retreatist, rebellious. Some people become rebellious. Neither they will approve the societally approved goals, nor they will follow the means. They are rebellious. Some people are ritualist. Okay, come whatever, I will follow it. If I succeed, fine. If I fail, fine. They will stick to the means. Doing on, doing the same, they forgot the goal. There will be some who will be conformist. They will follow the means, they will follow the goals, they will keep on trying, but they will undergo strain. Obviously, train to hoga hi. And there will be some innovators. They will find out some mean to achieve that goal. Maybe they will go for some manipulation, kickback. I mean, in USA, economic success is held very high, he says. To have this economic success through the institutionalized means or the prescribed means of studying and working hard and then achieving, it's almost very difficult. So people resort to drug peddling, resort to many other illegal things. So he gave these types of deviance, and these are the 6 thinkers you have. I talked to you in half an hour. Truly, these are stories, you know. Now somebody will make it a theory of surplus value, theory of class struggle, something they will say, but the thing is that it's all are stories only which we see day in and day out. Now, because you 4 people have come, and let us give me a fair idea of what exactly the course is. Based on it, you take a decision of yours as to whether it is a piece of cake for you or not. That's up to you. I thought sitting at home is Chapter 1 is the sociology, the discipline. You need to study 4 things in it. Emergence of sociology. Particularly in Europe. It emerged first in Europe. First it emerged in Europe. How it emerged? I gave you an idea. There was a Renaissance and people revolted against the church, and they painted, Michelangelo painted Mother Mary breastfeeding the child, Jesus. And it was nothing but a symbolic protest against the orthodox nature and the control of church, the state. It was the Renaissance was visible from there. And then came Industrial Revolution. When Industrial Revolution came, people from the rural areas, they flocked to the cities and they started working there. There was no housing for them, no transport for them, no electricity for them, no water supply for them. They were sleeping on the roads. Now some thinkers, they thought, who are these? Who are these people all on a sudden they are visible on the streets? And where from they have come, where are they, what do? They found that they work in the factories. And Karl Marx got interested to understand what happens in the factory. Some others got interested that a group of people are the pavement dwellers, whom we call it a pavement dwellers. A visible society of people who are related to each other through some or other bonding are visible. They said this is a kind of a social grouping, and those who are protesting against the church, they are also a separate community. Well, these are also a separate grouping. And when there was a French Revolution, a group of people in Paris, they protested against the king and they killed the queen, and they were trying to frame a constitution at the Palace of Versailles. They were doing something and they were a visible community. Who are these? So it is said the people tried to study these phenomena. Who are these people? They look like a social grouping, a kind of a society. When in a class of 400 in Vajiram, I find there are few societies. How? This corner are the northeast people sitting. They will completely visible. They are the northeast people sitting together. Here is the group fully, I cannot distinguish between who is a Malayali or a Tamil or a Kannadiga, but they are distinctly visible. They are from South India. A group will be sitting at the back I can very well see these are the Punjabis. A society forms based on certain bondings. And the same thing was observed in Europe in different places. A group is protesting, a group is dwelling on the roads, and they were from a society. And the authors like Auguste Comte, Emile Durkheim, they wanted to study what they are. And by that time, science has already taken its foothold in the society. Science means Galileo, something, something, all these people had already come. And there was discovery of the sea route by Vasco da Gama and others, so business was occurring, so money also came, a flourishing group came in Europe. So these authors like Auguste Comte, Emile Durkheim, Karl Marx, they all tried to study these groups. Who are they? And Auguste Comte gave the name that we will study this group and we'll call it social physics. We will not study like a philosopher studying the groups. We will study like a scientist in a very objective manner. We will count, we will take a percentage, we will understand their problem, what we see. They try to bring objectivity or quantitatively measuring these groups in terms of quantity. Like Emile Durkheim, when was to study suicides were occurring, he wanted to study it. I mean, he is studying sociology now, social physics. Initially, the name was given social physics. What he did, he tried to measure suicide rates amongst Catholics, Protestants, and when the suicide rates are high, summer or winter. That is the objective dimension that he wanted to study suicide. And he came out with his theory of suicide. He said suicide rates are higher amongst the Protestants, particularly in the months of June and July. Correct or wrong, that's a different issue altogether. That is how sociology emerged. And I said, in USA what happened? There was a civil war. The black, Northern America was fighting against the slavery. There was a civil war, the blacks and the whites, and people wanted to study it. As a result of which, sociology emerged in USA. Now, if we talk of Europe and if we talk of USA, can we leave India? How sociology came to India? There was a town planner named Patrick Gates. He came to Bombay and he stayed back. He came to Bombay University and started studying slums of Bombay, how to plan Bombay properly, and what is the impact of industrialization on the city, and that is how sociology emerged in Europe. So he wanted to study this. He was by that time was aged already. So he got a good assistant at that point of time from Konkan, Goa region, Govind Sadasiv Ghure. He is considered to be father of Indian sociology. If Auguste Comte, who termed social physics, was father of sociology, India, it was actually G.S. Ghure. When Patrick Gates called him, he came and started studying Indian society. What he said, we will look. It is he was a Brahmin, Konkani Brahmin. So he studied Gita, he studied Upanishad, he had studied Vedas also. So naturally, there he wanted to study. Patrick Gates gave him the idea of industrialization and slums and other things, and how industrialization, with industrialization comes is urbanization. When industries come, the area becomes urban. Density goes high, people are into industry, they are not into agriculture, blah, blah, blah. Minimum population 5,000 plus, etc. He tried to study and he came out with a good idea. He said, the industrialization and urbanization that were in Europe is not in India. He said, how? He says, you know, we have certain rural centers which brought urbanization, not industry. Well, what is that? Well, let's say, for example, Madurai. Madurai's rural center grew because of the Kanchipuram silk. It grew. Similarly, Varanasi. This rural market gives rise to urban centers. So he was recognized as a good sociologist. And he also studied caste, because he studied Vedas, Manusmriti, and he understood the Varna system and he liked it. And the way he, after studying the scriptures, Indian scriptures, the way he talked about caste, tribe, and other things, it's an Indianized method, and it is called Indology. He did not borrow ideas from Europe or USA. He simply did with. So, with emergence of sociology, we'll talk of Europe, USA, and India. Then we will talk about scope of sociology. Like economics has a scope. It will deal with demand and supply, land, labor, capital. And this is the area. They are very specific. They will not go for studying animism. No, they will not study. They know when there is a money, they will be into it. Similarly, politics also has a domain. Politics will study power, politics will study elites, non-elites, how power, panchayat, government, democracy, autocracy, all these things, they have a domain. What is the domain of sociology? There were two groups. One said sociology should have a special domain. Like, sociology started with caste, class, society, community, religion. Now, sociology is studying gig workers. What the hell you are doing? Sociology is studying neither male nor female. That. Sociology is studying homosexuality. Sociology is also looking into the impact of IT, this, that. ये क्या है? Does sociology have any particular domain? कितना लंबा है? I never studied digital sociology. Now today it's a branch, digital sociology. I had never studied gender. In 80s there was nothing called gender. Now it is a gender. I never studied universal accessibility. Now, as a sociologist in the corporate sector, I was told these are the physically challenged people have taken. You think of it. What do I do? You have taken, you know. But anyway, I tried to know. Now the question comes, what is the scope of sociology? Should it be specific? I mean specialist or a generalist? Can study anything, or should study cooperation and conflict of all the aspects, the social aspect. Marriage, cooperation and conflict. Caste, cooperation and conflict. IT, cooperation and conflict. Only the cooperation and conflict domain of the social phenomena. And this is a very old topic. Nowadays nobody talks of such topic. The argument that a general physician needs a specialist. Similarly, a specialist doctor also needs a general physician. I'll tell you why. My eyes were red. I went to an ophthalmologist. He looked, dilate karega, wo karega, tam jham kaate kare. Well, it's not my domain. Eye. Well, yeah, eye. She got irritated when I said, this is eye. She's telling this is not my domain. I came in the 9 o'clock when I could dilate karke, when I say, he just looked at it, it's not my domain. It is I. Well, yes, it is I, but not mine. I said, whom should I go? Well, you go to your general physician. It's not because of your eye. It is because of your blood pressure is so high. You go there. Don't come to me. No. I went to the general physician. He said, oh my God, your BP is so high. You have to just change the medicine. Number one, I'll give you one injection also, and then you give this, that, it will be all right. Kya yaar? A specialist also needs a general physician, and the general physician at a point of time will also need a specialist. You go to a general physician and I'll say, see, my eyes are like this. Well, it is not my domain. It is infected by your rheumatic pain. Go and talk to the ophthalmologist. It is. There is no quarrel between general physician and specialist. Similarly, sociology should look into the specific domain and can also. Now the thing is that presently should sociology be quantitative or qualitative? Quantitative means, should sociology be dealing with statistical techniques like mean, median, mode, correlation, standard deviation, regression, probability, all these things? Or should sociology be narrating, describing with a paragraphs after paragraphs without getting into data? That kind of a thing comes. Again, the answer is some of the things that data cannot describe. Can one describe how many kg of love the mother has towards the child? One can't measure. To what extent, how many meters of distance is there between the Hindus and the Muslims, mental distance? Nobody can measure. There we need to describe. The love needs to be described. Anger needs to be described. Hatred needs to be described. There you need to have a little bit of English writing power and your observation, and at times you need to have mean, median, mode also. Then in this chapter you have something called sociological imagination. You have to have your imagination to be a sociologist. Everything cannot be taught to that matter. Little bit of imagination, the better imagination you have, at times you may find that it looks very awkward. How can I say so? But that could be the gem. Like I said, a person looks at an individual's problem and tries to come out with a common solution. He looks at an individual problem that the person is on wheelchair or on a caliper, something like that. And he thinks of that there could be many such people. We can think of something like universal accessibility. He can universal accessibility in the sense, while sitting on a commode in a water closet in the toilet, a side rails are given, hand rails are given. It is good for those who are on calipers. They hold up and they sit. But it's not bad for anybody. It's good for an old man like me. I do have handles. It's also good for a pregnant woman. She needs a support. At point of time, all of us are physically handicapped. Maybe during disease, maybe during childhood days, maybe during old age, maybe during pregnancy. At one point of time or other, all of us are handicapped. So naturally, universal accessibility, if somebody has imagined, it's a very good one. Similarly, looking at the divorce, sociologists can have an imagination. It's not divorce is all bad. Divorce is always not all bad. There could be something better aspect of it also. Instead of being into continuous conflict till the end of life, it's better. Rather it could be, if I say sociologically, that it's a kind of a rise of individualism. It's a kind of an imagination. It's a kind of an imagination after looking after few families that they got married with lots of hopes. I know some of our classmates, what a great hope, expectation, aspiration they had for that very boy or that very girl. And they got married. They got a child. Child got grown up. Over a period of time, they regretted their own decision. And unfortunately, they again went into that very mistake that they did is the wedlock. It's my imagination is family is not all good. It's something like a hope, regret and retry. But it's not going also. It's also needed. It's the first school of socialization. It's the first school of ethics, but it is also at the same time giving you a sense of discrimination of class, giving you a sense of discrimination of caste. It is also giving you a sense of discrimination of gender. It is also giving you a sense of discrimination about religion and so many things. Family only giving. So there should be some social imagination and relationship of sociology with history, pol science, economics, psychology, etc. And you don't have to study much. I'll give you just 4 points. Nature of the, first you define what is sociology, suppose it comes, what is sociology, what is history. You have 4 points. Nature, what is the approach, or you can say method, and you can say, first you say what is sociology, what is history, what is sociological methods, and history's method are entirely different. History will go to a cave, will try to study the inscription, what is written on this thing. Our sociologists will not do that, will not go to a cave to find out how these things, they will not. And then you try to understand the interdependence. Then you give your conclusion. 4 points you need to have for all these, whatever it is. Say for example, I'll say history is his story. I'm giving you a layman's Babur's story, Hitler's story. Now, sociology will also study history, but how it is different, I'll tell you. History is telling that there was an wounded soldier in the First World War, and this wounded soldier, when his side was completely vanquished, he was with a wounded leg, wounded eye, was proceeding towards the English soldiers, and in front of the English soldier he sat and said, "Kill me, kill me." And in a war, it is beyond military courtesy or dignity to kill one wounded soldier. And the English soldier said, hey, leave, go. The medical relief team came and lifted him, put him in the hospital, and treated him. After 3 months, he got well. He returned back to his country and then united the whole country people, saying that these are the Jews who have been dictating, for which we have lost this. Because during those days, Jews were very, very powerful. They are holding the key positions in whole of Europe. All scientists, all doctors, all majors, I mean war, military majors, and they were these Jews. He said, these are the Jews against whom we have to fight and get back our glory, which the kind of insult that we got in the First World War, the kind of terms and conditions they have put on us, we must take a revenge on it. And that resulted in the Second World War. And the gentleman was none other than Adolf Hitler. So the history might have given you something, but sociology brings that a social significance that the person who was left at that point of time by that English soldier, if would have been killed, Second World War could have been avoided. The sociology looks into the social significance of this. Political science will say the Prime Minister gave a flag onto the temple of Ayodhya, a brown flag. Sociologists will not look at it in that point of view. It will say it is a constitutional morality of the head of the state to see that the minorities that we have, what do they feel when the head of the state is affiliating to a majoritarian religion. It is nothing but majoritarianism. It is nothing but suppression or creating a fear psychosis amongst the minorities. Only thing is that the interpretation differs when it is a sociology, when it is a political science. So we would like to see the nature, the methods they adopt, the interdependence that they have. Without history, can sociology survive? No, impossible. If I cannot show you how secularism was in 1947 and how it took a turn in 1976, then how it took a turn in 1986, 1992 when Babri Masjid was demolished, and what a thing that was deliberated in Supreme Court of India as a companion concept of democracy. Secularism is nothing but a kind of a democracy. Your freedom to eat, freedom to wear, freedom to marry, freedom to speak. If I haven't gone into the annals of history, I will never understand secularism. Simply, if the secularism is being, in a sociological sense, if I say secularism is sarva dharma samabhava, it started in Europe, it makes no sense. You have to have support from history. You have to have support of the politics that happened during Rajiv Gandhi's tenure. You have to have support of economics of secularism, economics of communalism. All these things you need to understand. There lies the interdependence, but there are methodological differences, analytical differences. and finally you come with a conclusion, like all the books must be having history without sociology is fruitless, sociology without history is rootless, something good jargons will be there. You can give that. This is all about chapter 1, and I believe chapter 1 to study should not take more than a day. Should it take more than a day? Only you need to have 4 lines each with the 4 points. That's more than enough. Have I talked anything very technical kind of a thing here? There's nothing technical. See, when I studied, there was, at the graduation level, there was no sociology. Nowadays, 11th class students also study sociology. You have NCERT, NCERT, kya kya hai. During our time, 1976, nothing. Only if somebody is going for those, today they are called NIT, earlier they used to be called REC and IIT. These are the 5 IITs are there, some 20 RECs were there. If you are going into that, you are an engineer and few medical colleges, or else you have history, political science, economics. These are the things. After graduation, I mean, Rishikesh Panda, during that period, he was the topper. And I met Rishikesh Panda, was called to our office to deliver a talk. He was a topper. Someone or other, I was not very, I mean, when we heard this news, we were so inspired that many of us took sociology at the master's level without knowing what is there, without knowing. And during our time, what is society, what is community, what is religion, what is group, Karl Marx, Emil Durkheim, and something. And even the teachers, they themselves were also not sociologists. They turned to be sociologists over a period of time. Professor Srivastav, who was teaching us, was not a sociologist. He was an anthropologist. Even Andre Bete was not a sociologist. M.N. Srinivas was not a sociologist. G.S. Gure was not a sociologist. They were all anthropologists, and they shifted to sociology. So, this is the relationship with sociology. The second chapter, it's a very small chapter, sociology as science. The question is sociology a science? Initially they called it social physics. Is sociology a science? What do you think? Is sociology a science? If might be, why?
It not only studies like the socio-cultural aspects, but also objectivity.
Objectivity, good.
Evolution.
Evolution. Anything else? The biggest point is What is science? What's your idea about science? Science is, like you said, objectivity. It adopts a specific method. It assumes certain hypotheses. It goes for proving or disproving that hypothesis, comes to a logical conclusion, remaining neutral, and goes for prediction, isn't it? That's all about science. It develops hypothesis, science proposes certain hypothesis, proves or disproves it, adopting a scientific method through proper sampling. Sampling, you understand? How do you collect a sample? Not haphazardly. Collecting in this MVP circle, asking somebody and saying that, oh, you selectively, you selected this many percentage people are here, 20% selected from here, that many people, 20% there, then through a proper sampling framework, then you collected the data, then after collecting data, you analyzed it, then you came to a conclusion that the hypothesis proves wrong. So, the finding is this. If that is science, sociology also has hypothesis. Sociology also has sampling procedure. Sociology has also logical conclusion. Sociology has also impartiality, neutrality in analyzing. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't talk with a vested interest that after doing the study they will say all Muslims are bad or all Hindus are good or whatever it is. They will not say like this. People will not obey. But some people will say science has a predictive value. If science says 2 parts of hydrogen and 1 part of oxygen are mixed, then there will be water. And it is true, it will be here water, there water, in the morning it will be water, in the evening it will be water. It is so objective. Can sociology give such a precision that if all get married, all will have 2 children each or 4 children each. If you get married at an early age, you will have this, that. Maybe you got married at an early age, you don't have a child, you don't want a child. Many things may happen. You can't give a precise prediction. Now the sociologist says, meteorology says, tomorrow there will be a rain. Does rain occur? No, it didn't occur. It fails. So also, sociology predicted, workers of the world, you have nothing to lose, so you fight against, and communism will be established. Maybe they fought, and it was not communism, dictatorship of the proletariat. Rather, it was again another group of elites who captured the power. Communism didn't come. Even in the communism in Bengal, in Kerala, they were dominated by few elites. Maybe Jyoti Babu was an elite, Buddhadev Bhattacharya was an elite, Pinarayi Vijayan is an elite, maybe Achyutanandan was not, Nambudiri Pad was not, but there were elites. Like the prediction comes wrong in science, so the prediction comes wrong in sociology also. But the features of science, like hypothesis, sampling, logical analysis, neutrality, drawing a conclusion, inference, and trying to give a prediction, going for generalization, going for predictability, replicability of the study. Like science study can be replicated elsewhere, so also sociological study can be replicated elsewhere. So these are the things in sociology as a science you will be studying. The topics there are, yeah. It will talk of a little bit of methodologies also. It is also, you can, the things are there. I believe it's a matter of a day to have a brief understanding and do it. The third one is a research method. It is a little, the chapter 3, where students normally you will have, one is quantitative and qualitative method. Quantitative and qualitative method. What is quantitative method? Quantitative method, I will give you a very layman's example, like only recently there was a survey conducted where it says BJP in Bihar will get 165 seats and come with a full majority. How did they come? They went to different districts, collected different samples, talked to the people, their opinion, then they did mean, median, mode, deviation, correlation, etc., etc., and finally they came with the conclusion that out of 223 seats, BJP will get 165, so it's a clear majority, they are going to come. It's a quantitative method. Now, can this quantitative method, taking the opinion, suppose you are going to an orphanage where small children are there who are kept there and are taken care of, how the condition is there, you want to make a study. Can you go with a questionnaire and ask a question? 2-year-old kid, how are you? Do you get food? What's your name? What's your age? When did you come? How are the things? You cannot do all these things. There are certain places, suppose street side gambling is going on. You want to study the gamblers. How do they do? What you will do? You will go, hey, दिन को कितना कमाते हो? How many people you have cheated? How many you have lost? You will go do that. That quantitative asking questions and noting it, percentage, mean, median, mode will not work there. There you go for, you observe and note it down. So this is called narrative, narration through maybe observation, maybe conversation analysis. Two people are conversing and you are trying to draw inference. draw an inference. I'll tell you how others get irritated, particularly my wife gets, come on, you don't come to a conclusion so quickly. What happened? One of their, our in-laws, one of the girls got married. Few years ago. Got married. The son-in-law came. I found this a little different kind of a treatment. Son-in-law in any patriarchal society are esteemed very high, isn't it? Damad aaya hai. What do you call in Telugu? Alludu. Alludu is something a semi-god. Baba Garu. Telangana people will call Baba Garu, na? Baba Garu, Alludu, nothing was happening like that. Not even a cup of tea is offered. What the nonsense? And after Alludu left, the mother-in-law was telling, मोटा दिमाग मोटा खाता इतना इतना है, आने से मेरे को लगता है धक्का मार के निकालू, शैतान कहीं का, मांग के भीख मांग के पैसा लेता है, पैसा लेना जानता है, देना नहीं जानता है, इडियट, बाप भी कंजूस, बेटा भी कंजूस. What the hell? Can it be? For the first time I heard it. I saw, it was an observation, I saw it and I came to a conclusion that in Indian middle class, I'm coming to a generalization which should not. There lies the objection, because it was from their father's side such thing happened. It's very insulting. A son-in-law in your family is being disrespected like this. I'm also a son-in-law, actually, that's why I said so. In their family, good or bad, that's a different issue. I said, patriarchy is losing its hold on middle class Indian society. How? See, the son-in-law who is respected in a patriarchy is now disrespected, not even offered a cup of tea when he came, was not asked to sit, and he sat and he, after 15 minutes left. It is very unusual, and if it is happening, it's not a stray case. My social imagination says its patriarchy is losing its hold in the Indian middle class families. Am I wrong? No, don't generalize. Saw a particular case, nothing happened. Your observation was like very biased. And maybe I was biased because it is your side, na? तुमको थोड़ा सा बुरा लग रहा है. After that, I went to my friend's son's marriage. My friend was telling, Dekh, you keep on always saying son and daughter are the same. Look at my two son-in-laws haven't come. They will come in the evening in the party. Well, had it been my two sons, they would have helped me so much. These fellows are idiots. My daughters are working. These are the two nikammas. These are the two also almost like house husbands. You are shouting, shouting, shouting. मैंने नंदला चुप कर यार. दामाद के बारे में ऐसे थोड़े ना बोलते हैं. बोले see यार, in the whole day I am running around from pillar to the post. These two son-in-laws are गायब. They will come in the evening, बड़ा tie पहन के, and it's all my daughter's money. One is working in the bank, one is working in a corporate house. And these two son-in-laws, really, they don't do anything. They are the house husband, but don't say that they are house husbands. They work from home or something. And he started shouting. Then I told my wife, just see the trend, and it is truly enough, the moment women empowerment occurs, the son-in-laws tribe, I mean, they are losing that importance, and they are not coming up at par. Naturally, they are trying to. That boy said, "I want to marry you." Well, stupid. You want to be a house husband? I don't like a house husband. क्या conversation? I was दूसरी तरफ देख के मैं कॉफी पी रहा था. And truly enough, patriarchy is losing its hold in particularly middle class Indian society. You may agree, may not agree, you may say I am biased or something. This is a kind of a I'm not using that term, it's called something called ethnography. Ethnic communities, you are studying them, ethnology or ethnography, whatever you call it. It is a kind of a conversation analysis. Like this. There is no sample, there is no percentage. Looking at one or two events, my imagination says the way I narrated this, there was no data, but I did it. Then you have techniques of data collection. How do you collect data? Quantitative data, how do you collect qualitative data, how do you collect all these things you look into. And then you have sampling, hypothesis, you have reliability, validity. Have you read these things? Sampling, hypothesis, reliability, validity. Have you read in your graduation class? Another variables, parameters. What's your background? अच्छा B.Tech. तुम्हारे वहाँ पे एक project work you don't have to do? The final semester में project work kind of a thing? Related to engineering only. अच्छा. Anyway, this is a chapter which may take a little time. If these chapter 1, chapter 2 or one day each is more than enough, I mean 6 hours effort is more than enough to deal with the chapter 1 and chapter 2. It may take a little more time, chapter 3. It takes time, maybe 3 days. And if it is too new for you, 1 day more, 4 days. Then comes chapter 4. Thinkers. Marx, Durkheim, Weber, Parsons, Merton. And each of them 2 days each. 10 days they will take. I told you in 1 hour. It will take little time. But I'll tell you, you will catch marks too fast. Just 6 hours work, your marks will be with you. Durkheim, maybe you need 10, 12 hours, 2 days. On an average, I say, honestly, we say Modi ji works 20 hours a day, that's a different issue altogether. But normally, productively, we work 6 to 8 hours a day, not more than that. Student asked me, sir, how many hours you study a day? मैंने बोला यार तुम भी today I roughly study 2 hours a day, not more than that. 2 घंटा तो देखना ही पड़ता है, नहीं तो how can you manage? The topic on which you are going to talk, you have here how capitalists generate surplus value, excess money, what are the techniques, this and that. But I have my own way of narrating Karl Marx, taking examples in the present day society. It won't be technical, that's for sure. Let's say theory of surplus value. Or, no, let us say another thing. What are the chapters are there? Alienation. Let's say, I have talked to you about, you have the first chapter called historical materialism. What is historical materialism? He analyzed history materially, not from philosophical point of view. From the economic point of view, he analyzed history and said, history is nothing but a class struggle between the haves and the have-nots. He said it happened in slave society, it happened in feudal society, it happened in industrial society. And history of society, if we look into materialistic way, it's nothing. It started with slave society, then it started with, then came this feudal society, then came industrial society. And every society there was a class struggle. And the way he gave the economic interpretation of history, it is called historical materialism. Simple, and we will write 3 lines each for slave society and what is the modern slavery today. That is more important. Is there slavery today? What is that? Can you give an example of a modern slavery? Working through written bonds. Working through written bonds? No, sorry. Completely wrong. I'll tell you how. I found many almost kind of bonded labor colonies in Arunachal. I also found it in Assam. What happened is original Arunachalis are comparatively well off. They have good buildings, this, that, everything. Achanak, all of a sudden you find tinned enclosure, tin se ghera hua hai. What is this? Who stay here? These are actually Muslims of Assam. you know, it was very curious for me to understand why in a posh colony like this there is a open, क्या बोलते हैं, पहाड़ है, उसमें tame enclosure है. What is this? I went early in the morning and a group of young boys like you were standing. They don't talk normally. They are not supposed to talk with strangers, to the localites. They will not talk. But nevertheless, I kept on going at somewhere at 4:35. I mean, Arunachal morning is very early, isn't it? It is the eastern side, na? Arunachal. Arun ke Anchal hai. So morning is at 4 o'clock. By 4:30, by 5 they will leave. They were standing. One fellow was standing little distance. I asked them, why are you standing here? We'll go for work. Where will go? We'll go for Gopur. Okay. I could not ask where from you are, but I could understand they are all from Assam. But I could also understand they are mostly Muslims. And these are the people, there will be a person from here, they will go to the villages and they will catch hold of them. They will say, we'll give you good salary, you come, we'll give you accommodation of this type. In the morning, they are all taking bath. Khadagat, khadagat, they are taking bath. There will be a water vehicle, drum leke. वहाँ पे they will be taking bath early morning and a matador comes. Matador comes, so they are waiting there. A matador will come, matador will pick them and take them to Gopur, where they will work. And matador will pick them and leave them back in the evening. They will, in the evening, they will cook something and eat, sleep, and again will go. Actually, these contractor in between who brought these laborers, all these are poor people. They are in debt bondage. कहाँ से पैसा लिया, दे नहीं पा रहा है, बोला I will pay for you, don't worry, I am paying, and now you are free. You come with me. I'll put you in a job. I'll give you accommodation. They will work there, and because they are giving accommodation, they are charged so high, they rarely can return back the original 40,000, 50,000, whatever it is being paid to the sahukar, the money lender, and it continues. And there is no written bondage. And when the NGOs go and rescue them, saying that, put them in the court, sir, this contractor has put him in a bondage and forcing even their children to work, grown-up children to work, girls to work, then the court says, I need written proof. On the basis of what you say, I cannot give a judgment. Well, sir, this is a modern form of slavery. Slavery International, Human Rights International are trying to identify such bonded laborers. And it was in Noida also, when this DLF Mall sector was coming up, people used to come over. And it is rampant in carpet industry in Mirzapur in UP, near Varanasi. This carpet, कालीन जो बिछाते हैं, तो carpet industry, it is also rampant in bricklaying industries in Punjab. It is also rampant in the northeast. Biharis are full. I met this particular group which were Assamese Muslims. Otherwise, Biharis are full. Bengalis are also there. Bengalis, Biharis, Assamese Muslims. I didn't find any South Indian. Very less might be there, but very less. that is historical. And now what I was going to talk and I got diverted. There is a topic called alienation. Karl Marx gave a theory of alienation. Now one can say alienation in many ways. I'll tell you how he explained alienation. You must have seen roadside tailors. You have here roadside tailors. We have lots of roadside tailors. They will be doing the mending and refu and थोड़ा कमर बढ़ा दो, थोड़ा कमर घटा दो, लेंथ थोड़ा कट दो, जीन्स का ये कर दो, ये थोड़ा गला ठीक कर दो, and they will do it. Sometimes they cut also. A darji tailor in the neighborhood is not that he is very rich, earns a good amount, but whatever he earns, meager amount, he has a different type of thing called, when he had stitched a frock for a young girl for a festival, the frock was, cloth was given, he has stitched it, and the girl during that particular festival, maybe Chhat Puja, maybe Holi, in the evening he was coming, Mullah ji could understand, oh beta, तुम बहुत अच्छी लग रही हो. हाँ अंकल अच्छी लग रही हूँ. हाँ हाँ अच्छी लग रही हो. Actually, he had a little bit of chance of a creativity. Though he comes at home, takes the size, even he comes at our home, stitches for my wife, for my daughter, for our neighbor's daughter. Mostly he does the ladies' works. And these people thank also, Mullah ji, अच्छी बनी है. हाँ बेटा, अच्छा बना है, ठीक है, अच्छी लग रही हो. Allah आपको महफूज रखे. Something he will say, and people show a gratitude. Now, later on, Mullah ji puts up a shop. He is no more roadside. He has grown up. He has put up a shop. Now, still, he employs few laborers. Maybe hemming, maybe button, maybe stitching, but he does the creative part. It's going on. The mechanical part is done by the workers. It's going on. But later on, the competition comes. Now, he is working in Sector 63, Sahi Exports, which is a garment manufacturing, where he does the cuff part of the shirt. Machine will cut the cloths in the shape 38, 39, 40, 42, extra large, whatever it is, and Mullah ji stitches cuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After doing so many, you get so many piece rate basis. He enters in Sai Export in Sector 63 at, let's say, 8 o'clock in the morning and comes out 6 o'clock or 5:30 in the evening, and he does the same work day in and day out, hours together, months together, years together. What is the difference between this Mullah ji who says, Allah आपको महफूज रखे, बेटा आप बहुत अच्छी लग रही हो, because he had cut and stitched, and the one where from the cloth has come, who has cut, what is the final product like, who is wearing, he knows nothing. And in this process of industrialization and a heavy competition where the smaller workers are wiped out, the workers get isolated from the work, from the work process, from the product, and finally from himself. He feels completely isolated or alienated. And when a worker feels alienated, it brings down the productivity, and it's a very dangerous trend in the society, and that is alienation. Here he had a chance, though poverty was there, he had a chance of creativity. Man is a creative being, and he cannot do the mechanical work day in and day out where he doesn't know where from it has come, where it is going, who is wearing, what is he doing, nothing is known. But there he knew, ये बच्ची के ये फ्रॉक मैंने सिलवाया था, वो पहन के जा रही है, बच्ची कितनी खुश है, कितनी अच्छी लग रही थी. That's a kind of a satisfaction. He was associated with his work process, his work product, and a satisfaction in himself. But in Shahi Oxford, Sector 63, when because of competition and other things, he took up a job with a 10,000 rupees salary per month or 15,000 rupees salary per month, he doesn't have a scope for creativity. He doesn't know for whom he is working, who will be wearing this, where from it has come, where it will go. Nothing is known to him. He knows I have to enter this workplace at 8 o'clock and I have to leave by 6 o'clock. By this time, I'll have to finish. He does only the cuff part of the full shirt. The satisfaction level is different. Maybe little more money he is getting there, so he is going. So this alienates him from the work process, work product, and finally himself. These are nothing but alienation. Now you write in few English words. इसको थोड़ा लिखो बस, थोड़ी अंग्रेजी, nothing else. But I said like this, I also talked about Durkheim's animism, I also talked about Weber's Protestant ethics and capitalism, little bit of Parsons, little bit of Merton. They may take 2 days each, 6 thinkers, 12 days. तो कितना हो गया? 12, 13, 15, 17 हो गया. 15, 17 days, 2 weeks gone, up to 4th chapter. The 5th chapter I have already talked to you to a great extent. No, 5th chapter I haven't talked to you. 6th chapter I have talked to you. Let me do. Hey, बैठा है रे, आ जाना. 5th chapter is stratification. How society is stratified. Stratified means layered. You know, here society is stratified on the basis of caste, on the basis of class, on the basis of gender, on the basis of religion, on the basis of classes, money. Caste is that social caste you have. So we will first we'll try to understand equality, inequality, hierarchy, poverty, all these very concepts, nothing more than that. After that, 5th chapter is stratification. you have to here study 3-4 theories of stratification. First one is theories of stratification. 3 theories. And all the theories in sociology can be broadly divided into 3. One is a functional theory, one is a dysfunctional theory, which they will say it's all bad, and functional theory will say it's all good. And another theory, it's called interactionist theory, which says it is contextual. Sometimes it is good, in this context it is good, in that context it is bad. It depends on the factors. It's called interactionist theory. So here also you will study functionalist, I won't write here dysfunctionalist for your easy understanding. I said it is called here conflict theories. Basically Karl Marx and his followers. Karl Marx was all that the society is conflicting. Until and unless communism is established, it is all conflicting, and the communist society is the ultimate society after which there will be no revolution. That was his prediction. After communism is established, there will be never a revolution. Where he went wrong. I mean, meteorology goes wrong, he also went wrong. So, conflict theory and interactionist theory. I mean, it is like contextual. In which context what holds true? Let's say for a capitalist context, this one holds true, stratification. Rich and poor should be there. Inequality should be there. Those who work hard and those who have intellect, they must be at the top. Otherwise, what is the motivation? In a communist theory, everybody is the same, it is said. If that is the case, why should I work hard? If everybody gets food, everybody gets the same kind of accommodation, what the hell, why should I work hard? Functionalist theory, they says, stratification is functional. Because there is a stratification layering in the society, so people have a desire to go up based on their merit, based on their effort, they go up. And that is where the society survives. Conflict theories, Karl Marx says, Arey, somebody if he cannot, that means he will not get minimum drinking water. Somebody who is born deaf and blind, what he will do? Something has to be done for him. Somebody who is poor genetically, generation wise, उसके लिए तो कुछ करना पड़ेगा. So conflict theory says inequality is very bad. Stratification is very bad. And then second one will get into dimensions of stratification. Caste, class, gender, etc., etc. And finally, it talks of mobility, social mobility. vertical mobility, up or down, horizontal mobility. Horizontal mobility? Nothing. Somebody was a teacher, he left the job, and in the same scale he is in a clerical position. See, nothing much in the change, up down कुछ नहीं हुआ. इस स्कूल से उस स्कूल चला गया. ठीक है. He was in a private school, now is in another school. Something like this. It's a horizontal mobility, no much change in the status, no much change in the economy. There could be vertical, there could be horizontal, there could be intergeneration. That's all about chapter stratification. Again, a day. Not more than a day. Then you have the sixth chapter, work and economic life. This we have already talked. Slave society, feudal society, and industrial society. Slave, feudal, industrial. Today's industry is IT. Today's industry is gig work. Today's industry, we'll talk about all those things. We'll also talk of the older part. And then we have the second one is formal and informal work. We have already talked about this. Labor code, gig work, formal to informal, informal to formal. Do you remember I said how informal work is getting formalized through UPI payment? That lady who used to sell on the roadside Amul milk or some other milk, Parag milk, now says, please don't make UPI payment. I can't pay GST, go for return, I can't give income tax, etc., etc. In fact, UPI payment system is formalizing the informal work. And at the same time, this fixed term executive labor code that it has included, now formal work is getting informal. Simply now the government is not recruiting permanent worker for till the age of 60. They are coming with fixed term executives. So we'll look into this formal, informal, labor code, gig work, all these things we have talked about. The seventh chapter is politics and society. It is a bigger chapter. Seventh chapter is a little longer chapter. It also takes, let's say, because you have already done with it, one day is more than enough. Now, chapter 7 is a longer chapter, like you again need 2-3 days. See, for one optional, how many days you can give? By reading Ridger, Herlombus, these, that, इतना नहीं कर पाओगे. I mean, it's very unlikely to say, somebody says, how can you demotivate it? I mean, given advice, don't go for hard work, go for a smart work. And these are the advice not to be given. But job is to be achieved, na? Number is to be, score is to be done. इतना मोटा Herlombus पढ़ोगे. Rather, I'll say, even this time, this Northeast, sir, you said Nitin Sangwan and Seema Sangwan are the very easy books. See, 300 pages, 350 pages each one. And see, look into it. They have included the PYQs and answered them. So some pages though are needed. Don't count by the pages. At least see the headlines, go through it, and have a quick note. Nitin Sangwan and Seema Sangwan are a good book, be it paper 1, be it paper 2. Nowadays they have increased the price, 600 I think each book, whatever it is. This is, here you read Sociological Theories of Power. There will be a similarity with your polity paper. I think polity paper in GS is paper 2. Paper 2 or paper 3? No, not paper 2, I think. Paper 2. You will find many similarities, like the second one will be, but except this theory part, I mean, it will be like elite theory, then it will also have something like pluralist theory, elite, pluralist, postmodernist. I'll tell you, if I say elite theories of power in a line, you may have to remember 2 or 3 authors. Elite theories is what? Government may change, but it is elites who will hold the power. You may think that I am giving a common man, now I am giving him, bringing him to the power. The moment he goes to the power, he is again an elite. And the best example is Arvind Kejriwal. Started as an Aam Aadmi with Wagoner, went for a Sheesh Mahal, and was the super elite. Such a transformation, the elite's theory of power holds really true for Arvind Kejriwal. The only person for whom this elite theory of power doesn't hold true is Achyutanandan perhaps. He remained the same house, I believe. He remained the same house. Also, Buddhadev Bhattacharya, not Jyoti Babu. Buddhadev Bhattacharya was a chief minister for, he was as a police minister, he was very brutal. Buddhadev Bhattacharya remained in that Palm Avenue's apartment. My boss in Calcutta NGO where I was working, my boss was staying in Palm Avenue, and one day I was entering the other side, he says, Joydas says, you know this house? What? Bola, this is Buddhadev Bhattacharya's house. मैंने बोला बुद्धदेव भट्टाचार्य knows not even a single security guard. बोला that is बुद्धदेव भट्टाचार्य. But otherwise, the elite theory says powers are concentrated in the hands of the few elites. And you change, somebody who comes to that power becomes elite. But pluralist theory, no, 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 you are wrong, you are wrong. There are multiple power centers. Not only the government holds power, even the farmers who were squatting on the National Highway 24 for 7 months, they brought down. The bill which was passed was to be taken back. Power lies there. Power lies, they brought a rule of these flight pilots. This many hours you have to work, after that again you have to join for the job. And all the pilots, they protested against it. 5 days, 1,500 flights were cancelled, and ultimately government was brought down and the law was taken out. So there are many centers of power. Even women can bring down, I mean, Morarji Desai was tamed to size. There are pressure groups, there are trade unions, there are farmers, there are women groups. They bring, even the students in JNU, students in Delhi University, they protest and they make the government come to their terms and conditions. So the power is plural in nature, not elitist in nature. 2-3 people will say power is concentrated in few hands who are elite, and others say no, no, no. Power is distributed in several centers. So we have to go through this. Then we will look into what is nation, citizenship, pressure group. These are all short notes kind of a things. Protest, agitation, social movement. The biggest example of protest, agitation, social movement is the peacefully students who are protesting in the streets of Dhaka. All on a sudden, Sheikh Hasina gave a statement, I will not give to the freedom fighters' grandsons, or should I give to the Razakars' grandson? Then the student got agitated. Are we Razakars? Are we traitors? Are we taking the side of Pakistan? You are saying this. And they got agitated. And that was the trigger point. They got so much so agitated and they became violent. I mean, they did not become violent. They showed their chest in front of the Bangladesh Rifles, and 1,500 people were killed. 1,500 children were killed. And ultimately, the students' teachers came down, then the advocates came down, then the students' parents came down, and the whole agitation turned into a social movement. Day long, month long it was, and finally the army was brought in. Wakaruzzaman, the head of Bangladesh Army, who happened to be son-in-law, cousin son-in-law of Sheikh Hasina, he was brought in. Wakaruzzaman, honestly speaking, conscience prevailed in Wakaruzzaman. Indian Army did not, Bangladesh Army did not shoot any student. Tried to convince. On When Wakaruzaman, I mean the Bangladesh army was called in, that day I was really so much of sacrifice, इतनी सारी कुर्बानी बेकार हो जाएगी. 1,500, I mean, I was thinking, well, 25, 24, 26 years, girls are showing their chest, mujhe maar, and they are being brutally killed. A girl is so smart. She was telling one police officer was like this, dragging. Bola, Bhaijan, be careful. CCTV surveillance is there. Will you be able to go back home? Can you show your face to your daughter the way you have handled me? Don't you feel ashamed? My God, that kind of a courage, a girl. Because the touches were inappropriate. It was quite visible from the video footage. Will you be able to show your face to your daughter the way you are touching me? I am less than your daughter's age. And the girl, perhaps, पहले तो गुम कर देते हैं ना, गुम करते हैं, कहाँ लेके जाते हैं, nobody knows. But anyway, the girl was found again. So the agitation turned into a social movement. And this is nothing technical about it, yaar. जब तुम ऐसे देखोगे ना, then you may find protest, agitation, social movement. Practically, when you will see how the protest become, how a protest comes, how a protest becomes an agitation, and the protest agitation comes to a. And Wakaruzaman on the 6th day told Bua, he happens to be cousin, na? So the mother-in-law, kind of a Bua. And the students were saying, Bua, Bua, Bua. Every students on the streets of, whole, not at that time it was not Dhaka only, whole of Bangladesh were shouting, Bua, Bua, because Wakaruzaman is being called in. Wakaruzaman, it's really the conscience that works. It is really the constitutional morality that works at that point of time. Wakaruzaman invited Muhammad Yunus, Nobel laureate, who is presently the head of Bangladesh. He was in Paris, called, Sir, we want you, please come. He came, and before that, the day he was to come, Sheikh Hasina, Wakaruzaman said, Bua, I can't save you. I cannot kill so many children to save you. And ultimately I cannot, because the way they are attacking Ganabhavan means that Rashtrapati Bhavan, the way they are attacking, I will not be able to save you. Please, you leave. I give you 45 minutes time. I'll give you a helicopter. You please leave Bangladesh. Immediately, helicopter was brought in the courtyard of Ganabhavan. She came without a briefcase, straight away walked into it, and it took her to Agartala. From Agartala, Air Force One brought her to this one, Hindon River, near Ghaziabad, and now well placed. After all, elite is in Chanakyapuri now. No country gave her entry except India. She tried in England, she tried in USA, she tried in Finland, she tried in many other countries. Nobody gave the kind of a genocide she has done. No country gave her entry. So these are, I talked to you about nation, nation I said, there was no nation. British says, Indian says it's not a boundary and nations. What exactly nation means, what exactly state means, what exactly citizenship means, what exactly pressure group means, we will all discuss about it. Not an issue, big. And the 8th, 9th and 10th chapter are, 8th chapter is religion and society. It may take, let's say, 2 days, not more than that. Again, it will be theories of religion. Then we'll look into animism, polytheism, polytheism, I mean, animism, I said, anima, soul, finding in water, finding in trees, finding in hills, finding in any, to that matter, they find a soul there, so they worship. And from there comes polytheism, many gods, like we have a god exclusively you worship for money. A god you exclusively you worship for vidya. A god you exclusively, I mean, it's such a good division of labor amongst gods. You god exclusively you worship for success. A god you exclusively worship for, if you are a engineer. Whom they worship, engineers? Who is the god for engineers? Huh?
The one who built
Vishwakarma. I mean, God knows. Whom do the doctors it's not only in India, it's also in European countries. What is this? The doctors will write like this, isn't it? Apollo god, something like that, Greek god. They do have polytheism. Marcus, Apollo, Zeus, or something they will have. And which is the best god for you? We have so much of polytheism. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralay, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar.
I believe in Jesus Christ.
You believe in Jesus Christ, okay. You?
All as for one.
Huh?
All actors once around. Even I mean, we worship the religion. That's also like that.
You worship the?
It's not like I worship a single god. Like
Achha, you worship, that is what, which you give the maximum importance.
no, so I don't give any maximum importance to all.
Huh? No. All gods are same. So you have only one God. If you are saying all, you love none, then you don't love at all. You have any God?
Jesus and in Hindus are like Ganesh.
Jesus and
Ganesh.
Ganesh. You have any God? Not yet.
Study rational.
Okay. I do not know, honestly speaking, as such, if at all I have a God or not. Maybe the national anthem is my God-like kind of. That a kind of goosebump feeling I get with that song. Otherwise, standing in front of a God, I don't have a feeling except I am in trouble. If I am in a deep trouble, somebody said, no sir, you said God bless. I said, it is, it's like they have a day called God Bless America. Similarly, it's a God bless is a symbolic, my best wishes that you succeed in getting a job. God bless, I say. As such, I don't have any idol in my mind that is God, be it something. I love festivals. iftar party is too dear to me. Xmas, I am too eagerly waiting that people will send me cakes, and these are interesting. That's a part. There's no much faith as such, except during the troubles. Except during the troubles. I don't know, troubles make you something. So these are the animism, polytheism, and polytheism later on gets converted to monism. Monism means the king supports one god dearly, and he asks others also to follow it. It's a kind of a sociological significance. From polytheism to monism is nothing but a dominance of majoritarianism. And of late, during the last 2 decades, I mean not 2 decades, 1 decade, we have seen dominance of Ram is, and this Ram is a political Ram. He is not that cultural Ram of Ram Ram, kaise hain. Subah, that lady who sells milk, if I go in the early morning for a walk, I try to take a cup of tea with her. I mean, in her shop, she will say, Ram Ram Bhaiya. There's nothing politics about it. But when another fellow will be, Jai Sri Ram, my foot. I don't try to give a reply to this Jai Sri Ram kind of a thing. It's a political Ram. But her was a Ram Ram Bhaiya. There was an affection, whatever. Instead of saying Dua Salam Namaste, she says Ram Ram Bhaiya. And we will also talk of, we have already talked, secularism. Rather, we'll talk on secularization. Secularization, religious revivalism. And fundamentalism. Except this portion, these are all common sense. Today there is a religious revivalism. Is it? We are reviving our religion. How? We are, with a lots of fanfare, going for Kumbh Mela. So huge. It's a kind of a religious revivalism. And this religious revivalism over a period of time can take a nasty turn of fundamentalism, like only going by the religious scriptures, what it says. And the interpretation of the fundamentalist will be something different, like the Taliban's they do. Initially it was religious revivalism, then it will be fundamentalism. It's a dangerous trend. We'll also talk of little bit on sect, cult. What is sect? What is cult? Sect is, I said, Protestant. They came out from this, and with an ideology they said work is worship, duty is God. They got themselves organized, had a very frugal lifestyle, and like this. These are the sect. Christianity has different sects. What are they? Number one is, of course, Catholics, then Protestants, then Evangelicals, then Methodists, then many. They are the sects. What is a cult? Cult is who cultivates cult. I mean, a person, personality based. You know, I do not know whether you have ever been. I was sent by my office for a training. This fellow, उसका नाम क्या है? Ravi Shankar, Sri Ravi Shankar, near Bangalore. From Bangalore towards Hosur, if you go, there is a place called Kanakpura, and it's 2.5 hours journey from Bangalore. IT city से थोड़ा, tech city से थोड़ा सा आगे है. And my God, the huge empire he has. Over 500 acres of land on the hilltop, 4-story temple, and followers. And I say, and economics operates in this cult. They operate malls, and their products are starting from food for your soul, to your food, to your dress, to your clothing, to your everything. Pedicure, manicure, yoga, meditation, t-shirts, jeans, lipsticks, moisturizers, everything they have. And it is a huge competition with whom? Inner engineering, वो जो कोयम्बटूर वाला. हाँ, Isha, inner engineering. And people go mad, you know. On the last day, I was there for 5 days from the company side. On the last days, you will be hypnotized. Whatever they say, you will be doing like this, pagalon ki tarah. And it's very interesting. Honestly speaking, it's very interesting. It was just retirement planning. Just before retirement, we were trained as to how do you enter into the new life and how do you adjust. Some people go mad, you know, after retirement. Anyway, so there are many cults like this. Isha, Sri Ravi Shankar, Ram Baba, keep on, Rame Rahim, somebody are in jail, Asha Bapu, so many things are, and there is a huge competition. And so the price is coming down. When there is a competition, so many vada wala, now vada is just 10 rupees. I can't imagine. In Delhi, a plate of vada is 100 rupees, 2 vadas. यहाँ 2 vada 20 rupiah. 20 rupees, 2 standard size vada. Dahi vada 30 rupees. Because there is a huge competition, though definitely in a competition quality goes up, price comes down, something. So same thing operates in these spiritual malls. Baba Ravi Shankar, Baba वो जो क्या है दूसरा ईशा, Sadguru, Jaggi Vasudeva, Jaggu Vasudeva, and there is a so competition, the price comes down. I'll tell you how. Art of Living ko bulaya. They initially said it is 1 lakh per day. So 3 days training will give 3 lakhs rupees. You have to pay. In between, they came to know that NTPC is organizing something like this, and Jaggi Vasudeva group came to know. Immediately they came and they said, we will give you a lower price, 50,000. And after that, another franchisee of Ravi Shankar, they came, why are you taking from that's not the original franchisee, I am the original one, you take it from me, I'll give you at 75,000 rupees per day. Manuela, my God, such a big competition in this spiritual world also. So we will look into those sect, cult, everything. Arey, ek to bach gaya. And 9th chapter is, it's very interesting except the theory part. Theory parts are also based on practice only. The 9th chapter is a very short chapter. Kinship. Kinship is relationship. A sociological term is रिश्ता. रिश्ता प्यार का, रिश्ता खून का, और रिश्ता तसव्वुर का, fictitious. Blood relation, marital relation, and fictitious relation. My son, can you do this favor to me? It's a fictitious son. Beta, ye kar loge. And a bondage also comes. अरे तू मेरा बेटा है, आखिरी दिन तू मुझे कंधा देगा. अरे वो मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा कि, दैट्स ए डिफरेंट इशू. हाँ, लास्ट डे आई विल टेक यू टू द क्रिमेशन ग्राउंड, बिकॉज मुंह बोला बेटा. क्या शाहरुख खान वॉज सन ऑफ दिलीप कुमार? नो, मुंह बोला बेटा. सो वी हैव a great importance for fictitious kinship. We will study these three kinships: blood, marriage, and fictitious. And the last is social change. Social change, you will have few theories. Kinship is a very short chapter. Here you have, it's a little longer chapter. Education and social change, science and technology and social change, these are common sense. But the two things, one is the sociological theories of change and development and dependency. These are two, will take a little time. Maybe the 10th chapter is 2 days. Rest. Total कितना हुआ? Paper 1, 20 days or 25 days? 25 days. Paper 1 will be 25 days. Paper 2, not more than 15 days at the most, because barring 3 people, G.S. Gure, Andre Bete and M.N. Srinivas, rest all vision of India, social change, agrarian transformation, social justice, this is all you know. But you have to study, you have to have a note, you have to look to the PYQs, and it is very dynamic. Dynamic in the sense, straight questions will not come. वो घुमा घुमा के फिरा के पेपर 1 के साथ पेपर 2 को लिंक करके something they will do. Sociologist thinks it is the shortest course, but questions will be dynamic. Straight questions will be very few. But nevertheless, if you have a little bit of imaginary power, you can do. Now, this is all about sociology optional. Would you like to know about paper 2 in the second half? I will. I am sitting idle. मेरा तो कोई काम ही नहीं है. I can come. We will talk. I mean, what happens is, this introduction is little needed. Otherwise, आसान चीज will look like a French and Spanish. Monism, politism, बड़ा. But if you bring it down, you can see how today polytheism is getting converted to monism. Our God, Ram, is evolving all on a sudden. It's a kind of a social relevance is that is a majoritarianism. We will look through it. आते हैं, मिलते हैं 3 बजे फिर, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock मिलते हैं. We'll discuss about chapter 2, paper 2. After that, you